Assalamu alaikum everybody. This is Zuhaib Qureshi. I'm doing my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from UCP Lahore, and today I am going to do a survey about how investors invest. And today we have Mr. Zain Rabadin Zakir with us, who is a young investor in the market, and he basically invests in different kind of stocks. And let's see. So we'll ask him questions about his experience regarding investments. So I would like to tell you that he has been a friend of mine from grade 5, and now he's a successful investor in the market. And let me introduce you to Mr. Zain Alabdin Zakir. Assalamu alaikum Zain.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
Sir, कैसे हाल चाल आपके?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. This is the first time someone is taking an official interview of mine as an investor. So I'm really nervous right now.
Right. So Zain, there are basically multiple types of investment opportunities investors have. The number one is equity-based investments, in which there are basically two types: non-technological based and technological based.
Yes.
Apart from that, there are donation-based investments too, which are obviously non-technological and technological. And the third type is lending-based investments, which are obviously non-technological and technological. So, which of them are you looking forward to invest in future?
Well, Zoeb, I started investing using stocks. So,
Right.
and the most of the stocks that I invested in, they had nothing to do with technology. Yes, technology
Alright.
is very important, and it's a revolutionary era that has been the flag bearer of this era is obviously technology. But
Yeah.
speaking from a perspective of a Pakistani, I won't say that I am being a pessimist, but I think that people in
Mhm.
Pakistan, if you're thinking to invest in Pakistan, then I think you should uh, think about things that are local, because we know that what our government will be doing. For example, if I choose to invest in some technology made by Tesla, I won't know their agenda properly. I won't know that what kind of decisions they are going to make. So that will be a big space of conflict for me and for the company that I'm investing. So that can yes, it can be very profitable, but it can also result in many losses. So I choose to invest in stocks that are local, and because most of the stocks are in Pakistan are not associated with technology, so I choose non-technological investment companies.
Right. All right. So basically, you would be investing in equity based, which will be non-technological
Exactly.
categories, right?
Equity. Yes.
Right. Moving forward, I would ask you some questions, and you would have to answer in five different like categories of answers. Number one is strongly disagree. Number two is disagree, or you can be neutral on that, and you can also be agreeing on it, and you can also be strongly agreeing on it.
So you're using the Likert scale of
Yeah,
MCQs. Okay, sure.
absolutely. So, how many businesses other than stocks you have invested in as an investor
Uh,
uh, in last 2 years?
so I have to answer it in what way? I have
Like You can tell me for this question particularly, you can actually tell me for you can actually tell me the number of years,
Number.
like
Okay.
a
Okay.
number of number
Okay.
of businesses.
So other than stocks, we are talking about stocks as group, right? I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm considering it one, regardless of how many
yeah,
companies I've chosen, right? So other than stocks, I have invested in. Uh, I haven't invested in real estate, and I have also invested in cars.
right. So you have basically invested in 1 to 3
Yes,
businesses.
one, two, three.
1 to 3, all right. So you have basically invested in real estate,
Yes,
stocks,
yes.
and automotive, right? Okay. So, Zain, would you like to tell me the maximum amount of money you have invested in businesses or in technology ventures? It could
Okay.
be it can be from 50,000 or less, or it can be from 50,000 to 1 lakh, or 1 lakh to 10 lakhs, or more than 10 lakhs.
I think I have invested about because real estate is a very big industry. You cannot go there without a small investment. So I think I have invested about I don't know, like 5 to 6 million rupees. Like that's 50 to 60 lakh.
50 to 60 lakhs.
Yes.
All right. Like more than 10 lakhs.
Yes. Yes. Obviously, more than 10 lakhs.
More than 10 lakhs. Right. Have you run your own business in the last 2 years? Like any
Uh,
sort of business?
well, actually, I don't think I would. Maybe it is a business, but yeah, obviously it is a business. So I actually got when I started. Right now, I'm also doing a job. So obviously, I don't
Mhm.
have that kind of time and that kind of a commitment for trading. So when I started trading, I actually got to know a lot about car companies, automobile companies, and that was very advantageous for me. Hence, I started
Right.
investing. I started buying cars. I got
Mhm.
some investors. I used
Mhm.
there is a term you call crowdfunding, and I actually convinced many of my friends to invest to buy cars,
Mhm.
and the majority funds belonged
Mhm.
to me. So when I would buy the car, I would wait a couple of months when that car would officially launch in the Pakistani market, and because
Right.
uh, the direct prices of the car would be very high,
Mhm.
I would lower those prices because I had bought them from outside. I had
Right.
shipped them overseas. I had that margin of
Mhm.
fluctuating the price. So that proved to be extremely profitable for me. But obviously, people started, uh, they
Right.
started they started renting cars, and the thing went haywire. Then I stopped doing that. That's the only business that I have run in past 2 years.
So now I'm going to ask those questions in which you will be answering in 5 different reactions. Number one is for those who don't know what is blockchain, I would like to tell you that blockchain technology is basically technology that safeguards private data and forms decentralized structure to ensure more transparency to the transaction process. It is a technology that helps protect an investor's information, payments, and privacy. So, um, Zain, would you like to tell me that do you think blockchain technology would improve crowdfunding platforms' effectiveness?
Uh, yes, I think because with that there will be a certain amount of confidentiality that people
Hmm.
still are looking for, especially in Pakistan, because here everything is so transparent, and obviously uh, trading and investing is a very confidential thing. So I think that blockchain will be advantageous to investors if it was applied.
Right. So you would agree or you would strongly
I
agree?
I strongly agree.
All right. So, do you think that a blockchain technology is clear and understandable?
Uh, I would disagree. No, I won't strongly agree with this. I will agree because
Mhm.
obviously there are, I think Pakistan has 55% of the population in 59% of the population in Pakistan is illiterate. So no matter how
Right.
hard you try to tell people or educate them about the advantages of this, there will
Mhm.
always be some naysayers. So I think I won't strongly agree with it, but I think I'll agree that it is somewhat clear and understandable.
All right. Right. So, moving on to the next question. Uh, do you think, in your opinion, it is desirable to use blockchain technology in crowdfunding platforms?
Um, well, I am very supportive of blockchains, but uh, obviously I won't support a total confidentiality where the government itself cannot, they cannot get the information about who is investing what, because obviously if that happens, and with the history we know of our politicians and of our millionaires here, corruption
Mhm.
would skyrocket. So
Yeah.
I would be neutral here.
All right. So, moving on to the next part of the interview, um, perceived accreditation. For those who don't know, I would like to tell them. It means how much you think the crowdfunding platforms take care of their screening process to ensure uh, only the best projects are put on the website. So, then, do you believe that assessing the competency of a new fundraiser and fundraising project is an important part of a crowdfunding selection process?
I think that crowdfunding cannot happen unless you assess the competency of a new fundraiser, because
Exactly.
obviously one cannot invest his people. Speaking very honestly, the most
Hmm.
beloved thing people have in the world is their money, and you cannot give your money to people without assessing and evaluating what is the potential of the company or the fundraiser or the project that I'm going to invest in. So
Right.
I'm going to strongly agree with this question.
All right. Um, Then do you believe that crowdfunding platforms will undertake a thorough screening process to determine who is allowed to fund here?
uh, well, I I believe that the crowdfunding platforms will, they will play a very important part, but I don't think that it will be right, because trading and funding and investing is probably the one thing where everyone is equal. Everyone has the equal
Mhm.
opportunity to invest. So I won't like support it, but I kind of think that this will eventually happen. Yeah, so I agree. I won't strongly agree, but I agree.
All right. So, do you believe that crowdfunding platforms will make a substantial effort to assess fundraising projects' real competency?
Yes, I definitely agree with this. Strongly agree.
All right. So, moving on to the next part. So basically, structural assurance, for those who don't know, I would like to highlight the definition of it. It basically means that the belief that the platform has protective legal or technological structure, for example, encryption, that assures the safety and security of the crowdfunding, such as promises, contracts, regulations, guarantees that um, everything is in place. Uh, Zen, would you believe that platforms should have appropriate legal safeguards such as promises, structures, regulations, and guarantees put into place to ensure you for a successful funding relationship with the fundraiser?
Yes, I will strongly agree with this point, because with all the safety precautions, it will not only be advantageous for the local investors, but it will also attract international investors in Pakistan, where where the platform will be extremely safe for them. So yes, I will
Right.
strongly agree.
So are you assured that the security technologies will adequately protect you from hacking or leakage?
Uh, well, I'm not a technology person, so I don't know uh, if a firewall can actually stop a hacker. But if that is how things go, then obviously I'll agree to this. I won't strongly agree because I don't know much about hacking, so I'll
Mm-hmm.
agree to this.
Right. So do you feel safe communicating with the fundraisers because platforms will provide safety protections?
Yes, definitely. Strongly agree.
Right. Hmm. So third-party seal. I would again like to highlight what is third-party seal. Third-party seal refers to the seal of approval from the neutral authority telling about the credibility of the crowdfunding platform. Um, Zain, do you think that third-party seals make you more comfortable?
I think third party seals should be applicable everywhere because they eliminate the
Hmm.
chances of bias and unfair activities. So, yes, I strongly agree.
Right. Do you think that third-party seals make you feel that the platform is secure too?
Yes, I will agree to this.
Right. Moving on to the next question regarding third-party seals. Zen, do you think that third-party seals make you feel safer in terms of funding too?
Yes, I believe that third party seals will make me feel safe for investing. Yes, I strongly agree to this.
Right. Right. Uh, Moving on. Network externalities. Um, It is basically the need of investing in a project present or on the crowdfunding platforms, which increases for a person if many people are investing in that project on crowdfunding platforms. So, Dan, do you think that most people are interested in funding on crowdfunding platforms in Pakistan?
Acha, so I think that yes, people will definitely uh, opt for this choice if they are. Here, once again, I think that people
Mhm.
will be interested in funding on crowdfunding platforms because this will allow them space. This will give them opportunities
Mm.
to invest in things that they cannot on their own. So yes, I will agree to
Right,
this.
right, right. Um, Do you believe that growing number of funders to the crowdfunding projects brings benefits to the funders too?
Um, well, you know what the main principle of funding and finding investors is that the more you invest, the more money you can make, and the more
Right.
you invest individually, the more profit you can take individually, but more the losses you can take individually. So when we talk about benefits, obviously the profits will be divided, so that's obviously counterproductive thing. But when you talk about
Mm-hmm.
losses, oh yeah, well then
Mm-hmm.
that is definitely very beneficial because you people, the funds, the investors can share the losses, and yeah, I think it's beneficial. So yeah, I'll be neutral here. I'll be neutral to this question.
Right. Right. All right. So, in your opinion, many people are investing in crowdfunding projects
Uh,
in Pakistan.
w- well, I I will disagree to this because not because crowdsourcing, sorry, crowdfunding is not a very beneficial thing, but because people, I don't think that majority of investors in Pakistan exactly know what
Hmm.
crowdfunding is. So yeah, I'll disagree that
Right.
many people are interested in it.
All right. So, moving on to the next part of the session, uh, perceived informativeness. It is basically, it means that the investor is able to find accurate, relevant, and timely information about the crowd-funded project easily through the crowdfunding platforms. Then, do you think that, in your opinion, fundraising projects provide relevant project information?
Yes, I won't strongly agree with this because the every company always keeps their information confidential, regardless how many people are interested in investing it. So I will
Mhm.
agree to it to a certain extent. So yeah, I'll agree.
All right. So, in your opinion, fundraising projects provide timely project information. Um,
Well, after after being part of trading and stocks for like more than 2 years now, I have learned one thing, that there is nothing called time in
hmm,
business. So I'm going to say neutral here because there is, you don't know what will happen. There is, you don't know
hmm.
what the government is thinking, the policies it's thinking. You don't know about the climate. You don't know about whether the company is going to bankrupt, because you are just an investor. You're not the inside person of a government or the company, so you cannot know everything on time. So I'll be neutral here. I won't agree or disagree.
So then, in your opinion, fundraising projects provide precise information too?
Well, yeah, I think. I don't think that uh, it's a big platform. I don't think there will be anything vague or very general.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think the information will be detailed and precise. Yes, I strongly agree. Yes.
All right, all right. Um, for those who have never heard of herding, it means following the decisions of the crowd, a majority of investors in this case, thinking they're right about investing in a project on crowdfunding platforms. Then, would you invest in a visitor company, any direct, indirect, and induced economic activity resulting from visitors' interactions with the destination outside usual environment? Crowdfunding, because many other funders have already contributed to it.
Well, no. If I talk about myself personally, I don't tend to follow the decisions of people based on their majority. Rather, I'm the quality over quantity type of a person. So I will do my own
Right.
research of that project. If I think that there's a specific reason that people are investing in that project, then yeah, obviously I will pro towards it. Uh,
Mhm.
but my decision will not be influenced by the number of investors that are interested in that project. Yes.
Right. So would you invest in visitor economy
In
because many other investors have already contributed to it? Like, uh, would you still want to invest in that economy?
uh, well, it depends on the precise information I get about that company. Again, I'm again going to disagree because I am not going to make my decision based on what other people think, because then I won't have any regrets. It will be my own decision. If I
Hmm.
suffer losses, then I will have myself to blame. I won't regret कि
Right.
यार मैंने उसका उसने इन्वेस्ट किया था, मैं उसकी वजह से कर दिया. I hate that
Hmm.
thing. So I will disagree here.
Right.
Strongly disagree. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Right. So would you follow others in deciding whether or not to contribute to visitor economy crowdfunding?
Well, when we talk about the discussion of it, obviously brainstorming is very important when you have to invest, but making the decision is your own call. I won't recommend people to
Right.
make decisions on the basis of someone else's opinion. So I'll be
Right.
neutral here. I'll be neutral.
Okay. Right. So then, would you participate in visitor economy crowdfunding because many other investors want to engage in it?
No, I will not participate. I will participate it on the basis of my own decision, on the basis of what
Hmm.
I think about it, but not on what others think about it. So I'll
Right. So you,
strongly disagree. Yes.
right, right. Perceived risk is a new topic of discussion. It means the amount of risk you feel when making a decision, which is very important for the investors. This refers to the amount of risk an investor feels when investing in a project on crowdfunding platforms. So, Zan, are you worried where there's a possibility of financial loss if you cannot receive the crowdfunding reward or benefit?
Look, you cannot become a businessman if you don't expect losses. And frankly,
Right.
I think losses are more meaningful than profits. So I don't
Hmm.
think that it will have any effect on me because I'm always prepared for losses, even though when I'm not expecting them, they don't take a toll on me because I know this is business. There is both profit and loss. So obviously there is some sense of fear because एक मिनट, मैंने बहुत लंबा कर दिया फिर से मैं करता हूँ. Okay, so I don't think that a person can be a businessman if they don't expect losses. The business
Right.
is defined on both profits and losses.
Hmm.
So yes, obviously there is fear of losing your money, and that's always there. So if we are talking about that fear, then yes, I agree, regardless of whether it's from the crowdfunding reward or not.
Right. Right. Uh, Zain, are you worried that the quality of crowdfunding product cannot meet the cannot meet your expectations or customers' expectations?
Well, definitely, because no matter how good a service is, it doesn't mean that they're
Hmm.
going to give you the best product every time. So yes, I strongly agree that I'm not strongly agreeing. I'm agreeing that I'm worried with the quality. Yes.
Right. Right. Are you worried that it will take a long time to receive the crowdfunding returns or benefits?
Yes, I'll be neutral to this because uh, if you are talking about profits, they can either come in split seconds or it can take you a matter of 10 years. So I'll be neutral here because time is
Hmm.
meaningless in business. Yeah.
Right.
I'll be neutral.
Right. So would you be also worried about self-esteem?
But
Worried about so would you also be worried about self-esteem will be wounded as you cannot achieve the goal of the crowdfunding?
no, 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 not at all. Because your self-esteem is defined by your decisions and what happens
Hmm.
to you, not what happens to crowdsourcing. So
Right.
I'll strongly disagree to this.
All right. All right. Uh, would you be worried about family members or friends disagreeing with the participation of crowdfunding projects?
No, because I never, if you're talking about me, I never ask my family members to invest because I don't want to mix family
Mhm.
relationships with business. So yeah,
Right.
that's not a problem of mine. So yeah, I don't agree.
All right. Hmm. Would you be worried about personal information could be embezzled if participating in the crowdfunding?
No, I will not be worried because I don't care if people find out I'm investing in something or not. I don't think why that's a big deal. So I strongly disagree.
Right. So, did you perceive that there's a risk when investing in a crowdfunding project?
Yes, risk is always there, regardless it's crowdfunding, regardless it's stock market, regardless it's real estate. Risk is
Hmm.
always part of the business. That's how it
Mhm.
goes. So yes, I strongly agree.
Right, right. Uh, Next part of the session is about value congruence. That means that investor or the funder and the entrepreneur fundraiser on a crowdfunding platform shares the same values. So do you really support the core value of the fundraiser as an investor?
Yes, I strongly agree with this because business should always be done in a morally ethical way. Yes, I strongly agree.
Right, right, right. There's a great deal, a great, there's a great deal of agreement on core values between you and the fundraiser. How would you perceive that?
Well, I will agree to this. I won't strongly agree to this because obviously we are not the same. uh, I might be looking at those core values from a different perspective, and the fundraiser might be looking at it from a different perspective. So yeah, I can expect some distance of opinions there, but
Hmm.
that's not going to be very much big of a deal for me. Yeah.
All right, all right. So the fundraiser and you share the same goal for fundraising projects. How
No.
would you uh, take that?
I will disagree to this because if you're starting a business, that doesn't mean that there is
Hmm.
either wrong or there is right. There are many types of rights and there are many types of wrongs. So if we share our interests in the right part of the investment, then I don't think that will be a problem of mine. So I disagree to this.
Right. Social interaction ties. Uh, it is basically a combination of strength of relationship, the amount of time spent on a relationship, and communicating frequency among investors, funders, and entrepreneurs, which are fundraisers, present on a crowdfunding platform. Then, would you spend considerably time participating in a fundraising project?
If I only am investing in one or in that specific fundraising project, then yes, obviously it's my duty to spend time on it. But if I have other investments too, I will divide my time. So I will agree to this.
All right. Uh, would you have engaged in a high level interaction with fundraisers?
Yes, yes, I will because it will give me information about my next steps and what things I can expect from the project. So
Hmm.
yes, I will agree to this.
Right. Would you have a frequent communication with the fundraisers too?
Agree, strongly agree.
All right. Character is trust. It basically means you believe or you trust that investment that you do on crowdfunding platform will bring you monetary benefits, which can be calculated. So, do you always expect the rewards of crowdfunding projects to be higher than the rewards of other non crowdfunding projects?
Uh, well, obviously, there's a reason that I would choose to take part in crowdfunding projects because I would anticipate some better rewards.
Hmm.
Uh, but at the end of the day, you know that business is very vague. You don't know what will happen. But I agree to this. Yes, I expect more rewards if I am choosing the crowdfunding projects. Yes.
Right. So would you always expect that investing in a project on crowdfunding platform will be more convenient than investing in other non-crowdfunded projects?
What do you mean when you say convenient? How?
Like in terms of you can say uh, maybe uh, communicating with the fundraisers or transaction of money and reaching out to
I don't
the
think
crowdfunding platform.
I don't think that will be a big difference. There will be a big difference. So I'll be neutral here. I don't think that there will be more conveniency in crowdfunding projects. I think it will be the same. So yeah.
Right, right. Um, so would you expect commercial the commercial terms of crowdfunding platforms to be more favorable than those offered by others? I mean, non crowdfunded projects
Yes. Well,
platforms.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Because the number of fundraisers that are interested in that project will obviously
Hmm.
be because of something. So yes, I will be anticipating some commercial benefits if there are a lot of fundraisers that are interested in that project. I agree. Yes, I agree.
Right. Hmm. Would you expect the crowdfunding platforms to offer projects that other platforms do not offer?
Yes, yes, because when we talk about the normal projects, well, there is a limit to which you can invest. A man who
Hmm.
has a budget of 10 lakh cannot invest in a company that is looking for a 50 lakh investment. But when you come to
Right.
crowdfunding, you can find five people looking to invest 10 lakh and you can be investing in that company. So I think that increases the target area of an investor. Yes, I strongly agree.
Hmm. Coming on to the next part, relational trust. What is it? It is basically it is developed when the investor and the entrepreneur have a social conversation on crowdfunding platforms and develop a sense of attachment with each other. Zen, would you feel a sense of personal loss if you could no longer crowdfund?
No, because at the end of the day, you are
Hmm.
always going to keep your business separate from your personal life. So yes, obviously you will have some, uh, you will feel a bit sad if that happens, but I don't think that will have any big effect on your conscious.
Hmm.
I
Right. So you would
I will,
disagree with that.
yes, I will disagree. Yes.
Right. Um, would you like you can talk freely with the fundraisers about your problems and know that he or she will want to listen. Uh, how would you perceive that?
Well, look, Zahib, I am going to be neutral here because
Hmm.
uh, people who are, you know, businessmen are like vultures, man. They always look for the insecurities and they always look to cash in on when someone is going to, pull back on their investment. So that kind of a trust, I don't think I will be comfortable with that. So I will disagree.
Right. Um, so, uh, if you share your problems with the fundraisers, do you feel he or she would respond caringly?
Well, that depends on what kind of a person they are. If they are looking to help me and looking for our investment to bring us profits, then I believe that there
Hmm.
are going to be benefits for both of us. But if they are just self-centered and they only regard themselves, then obviously it's going to end in a negative way. So I will be neutral here. I am not going to agree or disagree.
Right. Right. Um, well, moving on to the last parts of our session, technology awareness. This term refers to having basic knowledge of how to use technology, which includes knowing how to use internet, send messages, and look for information online. Uh, do you think that email service is very helpful for your daily activities?
Yes, definitely. I strongly agree. Yes.
Mm, right. And do you think that ICT tech knowledge to conduct your daily activities is enough?
Well, I am here talking to you via a Zoom meeting, so I think
Mhm.
I know that much. Yes, I
Right,
strongly agree. Yes.
right, right. Uh, so Zen, do you think that internet connection is essential for daily activities?
Yes. Obviously, in the world we live today, there is nothing like there is nothing that you can do without the internet.
Right. So do you believe having smartphone, laptops, or PC is essential for you?
Yes, I strongly agree.
Right. Moving on to the last part of the session, investors' intention to invest, which is really important. This refers to how willing the investor uh, is to invest in project present on crowdfunding platforms. Um, Zen, are you likely to fund the projects on crowdfunding?
I agree to this. Yes.
All right. And do you likely to recommend the crowdfunding projects to your friends too,
Well,
apart from me?
if my friends are interested in investing, then obviously yes, I agree.
Right. So then, are you likely to fund projects on the platform if you are in demand?
Well, I'll be neutral here. I won't agree or disagree.
Right. Uh, so this was a very informative session with you. I would really like to thank you for giving us your time, which is really precious for us, and it's an honor for all of us to having you on our platform. Um,
It's my
I
pleasure.
would really like to thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So this was it from the session. Uh, this was Zohaib Qureshi interviewing uh, a young fundraiser, a young investor, Mr. Zainal Abidin Zakir. And that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone.